Total? Not here, no. Some other part of the world, yes. A global event.
What's this? Pinhole camera. It's for the eclipse.
Makes one appreciate just how small our planet really is.
Do you ever get the feeling like you were meant to do something extraordinary?
Yes, we are all special.
この世の人口は1250万だけど、お前は一緒じゃないか。
違う、質問はなぜみんなと同じになりたかった？
Some individuals, it is true, are more special.
You should know who you are and know that it's enough.
I think I'm old enough for you to tell me who my real parents are.
It begins as a single individual,
Mom?
seemingly ordinary, except they're not.
These amazing dreams. Sometimes I'm falling, sometimes I'm flying.
You can fly, why don't you jump off the Brooklyn Bridge? See what happens.
I'm seeing things.
I'm hearing voices in my head.
Are you a crazy person?
More like I'm hearing people's thoughts. Something's wrong with me.
What are you talking about?
I painted it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, so?
Look at the number on the bus. This happened yesterday.
Doesn't make any sense to you. Let me tell you what does make sense. You gotta run.
Something is happening to me, and I have this feeling that you're the only person that's going to understand it. He was convinced someone was following him, trying to steal his research.
He left everything behind but his computer. Let's get a team in here to bag the tag. Suresh. There's a Professor Suresh. Geneticist. Interesting theories. But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you?
How hot do you think it is in there?
There's no burns. Tissue regeneration, levitation, teleportation. Is this outside the realm of possibility? Or is man entering a new gateway to evolution?
My whole life, I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, what I'm supposed to be. You have a destiny of my own?
You can help him.
Help who?
Isaac! I brought someone.
Simone?
Oh my god. I need an ambulance here immediately.
It's my turn to be somebody now, Nathan!
We have to stop it. We're connected.
So what about you, Claire? Do anything special today?
Anybody watch Heroes? Is that a show that any of you kind of tune into? It happens to be one of mine. It's really a fascinating show. In fact, according to TV.com, who has rated all television shows from all time, they have put Heroes as the #1 all-time television series. It's really about a random group of people who slowly begin to discover that they are endowed with a supernatural ability. And as they begin to find each other, they begin to understand that collectively they have a destiny. That they are somehow called to stop an unspeakable evil that is going to be unleashed on the world. I think I know why this television show can be addictive to those who tune in. It's because none of us want to be ordinary. We would all like to think that maybe somehow we are endowed with some sort of superpower. And that we might be able, if the situation called for it, to use it to be able to change the world. To be a hero. That dream exists within us all, though for many of us, that dream has sort of receded to the back alleys of our minds. And now, here we sit in church. And here at the Parade Chapel, we're beginning this morning an archaeological dig. We want to try to excavate the spirit of the original Jesus movement. And we do so in the hopes that we might protect ourselves. Protect ourselves from having our practice of Christianity become perverted into merely the exercise of a religious institution. And lo and behold, the first discovery we make in our archaeological dig is that our dream is our destiny. We discover when we look at that original Jesus movement that we indeed are called upon by God to exercise heroic character. That we are given by God a supernatural power that enables every one of us to change the world. And being heroic world changers is supposed to be normal for everyone caught up in the Jesus movement. Today I want us to go on a little journey. And I want us to start in a very improbable place. But I want us to end up in a miraculous place. Where we begin might cause us to give rise to feelings of despair and helplessness and condemnation. But as we go through the journey this morning, hope will be born in our hearts. And we just may end up with a radically different perception of ourselves and of our place in the world. Here's where I want us to begin our journey this morning. I want us to begin it at law. You know, the word law, especially when it's used in religious or spiritual situations, really has a very negative connotation to it. I mean, if you take outside of religion or outside of spirituality, law is a good thing, right? We want to be a nation of laws. And we're all taught to be law-abiding citizens. But the moment you take law and you import it into spirituality or you import it into religion, it becomes a negative thing. We all kind of cringe. Because whenever we think of the law of God, several things seem to normally come to mind. One is that the law of God is restrictive. That somehow the law of God keeps us from living a fun life, an enjoyable life. That somehow the law of God keeps us from experiencing pleasure. So it's restrictive. It's like a moral straitjacket that God wants us to put on for some reason. The second thing that comes to mind when we think of God's law is that it's just not fair. I mean, here's God, and He's imposing this standard on me that's just impossible for me to ever live up to. It's like God takes the rules of heaven, or the rules that angels are supposed to live by, and then He comes and says, now I want you to live by them too. And we go, God, it's too hard. It's unfair. It's not right to expect that of me. So when we look at the word law, in a spiritual context, we often have this inner emotional negative reaction because it just smacks of being restrictive and it smacks of being unfair. And I want to challenge those assumptions for just